Google Maps gives Android users full offline use. Apple Music comes to Android. T-Mobile cuts a lot of video streaming from your data usage, and more. It's Tuesday, November 10th, and this is Crunch Report. Starting today, Google Maps no longer cares if you're online in order to search for locations and get navigation instructions. Hooray! Well, at least if you're on Android. The great unwashed of iOS get it at some later date. The new feature got demoed at Google I/O back in May, you might remember that, and is now becoming a reality, which is great when speeds are slow and data is expensive, especially outside the US, or when there's just no internet connection at all. That can happen in your garage. So here's how it goes. You pre-select an area that you want to download for offline use, rather than downloading an entire metro area you might not need. And then you give that area a custom name. Once you're offline, you keep getting turn-by-turn directions, you can still search for destinations, and you get other details about places along the way. You know, we can actually chalk one more up for our Android folks today because Apple Music is now available in beta in all of the countries that Apple has music for iOS in, except for China, which will be launching a beta very soon. Now, Apple's ADQ tells TechCrunch's Matthew Panzarino that, quote, "From the moment we got into music many, many years ago, we've always wanted to do things for everyone when it came down to music. Part of that was letting you enjoy your music no matter where you were and what products you were using." Apple Music for Android comes with a 3-month free trial, just like it did for iOS, and the prices are the same worldwide. Couple things missing in this beta though: music videos and signing up for a family membership within the app. This is just Android. Although, if you have a family plan you bought somewhere else, you can log in with an authorized Apple ID to get access that way. The app's also notable because it's the first user-centric app that Apple's made specifically for Android, considering that the Android market share is at 77% in China, 79% in Germany, and 90% in Spain. That's a lot of potential Apple Music streaming customers. The iTunes Music Store isn't available on Android to purchase songs, but who even buys music anymore anyway? Just kidding, please don't send me angry tweets about that. I used to watch Netflix on my phone at the gym. Worked out quite well until I realized how much data I was blowing through. Now, if I were a T-Mobile customer, this would no longer be a concern. The company just announced, starting Sunday, a new feature called Binge On that will remove a bunch of video services from your data plan altogether, along with Netflix, Hulu, Starz, HBO Now, HBO Go, ESPN, Showtime, Vessel, just to name a few. The list goes on. YouTube is conspicuously absent though. Now, streams on Binge On will also drop to 480p resolutions, which is pretty doable on a smaller screen, but still noticeably not HD. Interestingly, T-Mobile did a similar thing with music services like Spotify and Pandora in June of last year, but it didn't force any other carriers to do the same for competitive reasons. But video eats up a lot more bandwidth, so this is definitely some sort of a power move. Are tech startups overvalued? Consider this news. Fidelity has written down the value of its stake in Snapchat by 25%, according to a report by Morningstar. Fidelity participated in Snapchat's Series F round earlier this year at an estimated $15 billion valuation. Now, the report says that Fidelity valued its Snapchat shares at $30.72 at the end of June, but then 3 months later, shares were written down to $22.91. Now, we don't really know exactly what's going on here because neither Fidelity nor Snapchat are talking about it. But in a trend-type sense, BlackRock also wrote down its Dropbox stake this year. Dropbox and Snapchat aren't the only ones having valuation pains either. Square recently valued itself at roughly $4.16 billion in its IPO pricing. That's below its $6 billion valuation from its previous financing rounds. Is this a trend? Kinda seems that way. Now, as for Snapchat, things still look healthy. The app just passed 6 billion videos daily, up from 2 billion earlier this year. But this is a cutthroat business with lots of competition. Perhaps you've heard of Facebook. HotelTonight CEO Sam Shank has announced that the company laid off 37 employees today. That's about 20% of its total workforce, and what he calls a strategic movement to reach revenue targets and just be more focused as a company. Shank stresses that this doesn't change HotelTonight's overall direction or the customer experience, and that the company expects to double bookings this year over last year and is still on track to be profitable next year. HotelTonight started out in 2010 as a same-day hotel reservation app and then added 7-day booking options last year. It raised more than $80 million in venture funding, the most recent round in 2013. And that is the report for today. I'm Sarah Lane. Crunch Report airs every weekday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on TechCrunch.com. You can find us on iTunes and on YouTube as well. See you tomorrow.